Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Fort Worth Community Arts Center, we would like to welcome you folks to another edition of Boxed Lunch. Another week is upon us, and I could not be more humbled and excited about our guest today. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the one and only Miss Opal Lee. How are you today, Miss Lee?
I'm in the pink. Whatever
in the pink. Well, that is great to hear, and we are so grateful that you took the time to join us today, and it is just a pleasure to meet you and have an opportunity to have lunch with you today. So thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, before we delve into all of this, do you mind just introducing yourself and giving us a little bit of background as to who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm really a little old lady in tennis shoes getting in everybody else's business. I am 93. I'll be 94 in October. And I've been in Fort Worth since I was about 9 or 10 from Marshall, Texas. And Fort Worth, I guess you'd say has been, a roller coaster thing, but I've enjoyed it. I really have, some of it. I'm the mother of 4. I finished school at Terrell. I went on to Wiley College in Marshall, my home, and I began teaching here in Fort Worth. I taught 3rd grade, the 8-year-olds so long that I was beginning to act like them, so they gave me another position. I became what they called a visiting teacher, but it was really social work. If a child was out, I needed to know why and to alleviate the situation. So sometimes it was shoes, sometimes it was clothes, sometimes the lights were off, or there was no place to live. So I did my best. And when I retired, and really before I retired, I got interested in genealogy and the Tarrant County Black Historical and Genealogical Society. Lenora Rolla was my mentor, and I'd follow her anywhere. She was such a tall, stately, beautiful person. And she had met the likes of Mary McLeod Bethune, and Mary McLeod Bethune is my idol. She worked with politicians, but the Historical Society had the responsibility of doing Juneteenth. And I ended up doing Juneteenth. And I tell you, you can call it a passion if you want to. I don't care what you call it. I'm gonna try my darndest to get it declared a national holiday. That's enough about me.
Fair enough. You are not only doing some great work, but based on the information that I have seen on you, you have moved many a mountain, it seems like. And again, just so grateful to all the fabulous advocacy and all of the work that you have put in. It is something to see, a true gem. And again, just so humbled to have an opportunity to have lunch with you today. So
thank you.
Absolutely. And on that note, what are you creating for us today with your lunch menu?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm one of those ultra-conservative people when it comes to food. Hate throwing out food. So whenever I cook vegetables, I take the liquid and freeze it. And after a while, I'll take that liquid and I'll put all kinds of vegetables with it. And so I've got them here, and it's gonna be celery and okra and potatoes. And listen, the potatoes I like bite-sized potatoes, except these are triple-sized potatoes, so I cut them up, you know. And then there's the squash and onions. And so that's about the size of it. That's what I got for you.
Nice. And
I
you
don't know what you want to call it, but it tastes good.
now you called it a mulligan, is that right?
Yeah.
A mulligan stew, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll let you in on what I've got going on today. I
Okay.
went on a little drive yesterday to my hometown of McAlester, Oklahoma, which is a very small Italian community in Krebs. And so I got a curbside Italian food. And so I also am going to use that leftovers to make a ribeye and pepper sandwich today. So that's my take on a Philly beef and cheese, if you will. So
all right. Now I'm going to tell you that in McAlester, one of my grandfather's 19 children lived there. He was a minister named Broadus, Thurman Broadus, in McAlester, Oklahoma. I know you needed to know that.
So have you been to Krebs?
Have I been to where?
Krebs, right outside of McAlester?
No, I haven't. I've been to McAlester more than once, but I haven't been to that place.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's some great Italian food there, and so I'm gonna throw it in a skillet, warm it up, and have a little ribeye and pepper sandwich today. So
okay.
All right. So Miss Lee, will you mind just telling me a little bit about your preparation there for your lunch? And it looks like you've got quite a bit of it in the pot already. Do you just pour it in? Do you cut it up? How do you go about prepping all that?
Well, I did wash all of the ingredients carefully. And like I told you, the potatoes were too large for me, so I chopped them half in two. And that makes them a bite size, you know. And I've got squash. And you need to know that I have a farm, 13 acres, that the water district let me use. And so my vegetables come from my farm. The squash, the onions, the celery, the okra, potatoes. The meat didn't come from the farm, but the rest of it did, okay? And so I got this pot ready for you, and I'm gonna put these things in there. Oh, here goes the okra. And here goes the squash. And the celery. And the potatoes.
Wow, just looks fantastic.
Meat. Now you can use any kind of meat you want. Your leftover chicken, your leftover pork, your leftover beef, whatever you want to use to put in this concoction. And I guarantee you when it's over, it's gonna be good.
Now
okay?
I gotta ask, are you eating all that yourself, or do you have some people to help you?
I've got a couple of technicians around, and I had a fella who's helping me outside, says, be sure I have a bowl and not a little bowl, he said.
Nice.
No.
All right, Ms. Lee. Well, I'm gonna start up my skillet and heat it up. And while I do that, I was wondering, do you mind talking just a little bit about how have you been staying safe? And also, how have you been reacting and dealing to the pandemic situation that's going on?
I've tried real hard to obey the rules that we've been given to stay inside, but it's truly hard, you know? Did you see the caravan we had?
Yes.
Oh, listen, I was so pleased with that. I'm telling you, I could have done a holy dance to see that many people who followed us to Will Rogers Auditorium.
Yes.
I try hard to stay inside, but there are so many things that have to be done. For instance, I have, I guess they call them clients. I've had them for years. We've got a food bank that I'm responsible for, and we service some 500 families a day. But there are people who are bedridden in wheelchairs, for some reason can't get out. They always confined. And so I take food to them twice a month, the 1st and the 15th. Large boxes from the food bank with produce and meat and milk and all kinds of things, you know, and it helps their budget. And they're glad to see me, they tell me.
Oh.
So I'm out doing that. I do have people who help me. The lifting of the boxes has gotten a bit much, but I still go because I'm not good at giving direction as to where somebody is. So I need to go myself. And then I miss seeing them. And I get back in the house as fast as I can, you know. But there's so much work to do here if I just tackle it. There's writings to do, and there's, I got books that need to be cataloged. I can't begin to tell you all these things that need to be done, and I just tap at it, you know. I'm not really doing anything constructive, I guess you'd say. I'm not making a dent. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not making a dent in what needs to be done around here, but I keep trying.
Well, I think your expectations might be a little high, because just from what you've said in the food deliveries, it sounds to me like you are certainly making a difference. So
I thought about my grandfather, who was a circuit riding minister, and I spent summers, my brothers and I, on his farm. And the people would come to Reverend Broadus with all their problems, you know, and he had nerve enough, if somebody came, and he'd say to his wife, my grandmother, Matsy, find a place for him, feed him, Matsy, find some work for him. I mean, you know, she had 19 children already. Not that they were all still home, but the same thing's happening to me. Since I retired, the people keep coming. They need a place to stay. They need electricity. They don't know how to call that 211, and they need so many things. And I'm just delighted that I can help sometimes.
now, you say since you retired, you make that sound like that was fairly recent. Now, you retired in 1977, is that right?
Yeah. And the people are still coming, so help me. They're still coming. They still need things. I'm here to tell you.
Well, that's my point. It's not like you've only been doing this for a month or two. It sounds to me like you've been bringing a lot of worth for quite a while. So,
you know, it's here. You do what you can.
absolutely. And we need more people like you for sure. So, Miss Lee, do you mind talking a little bit about what challenges did you face this Juneteenth with the pandemic? And what did that teach you about yourself and the organization in trying to create a national holiday?
Well, we had been busy quite a while with the National Juneteenth organization that was founded by Dr. Ronald Myers, and he's responsible for some 46, 45 states having Juneteenth celebration. Well, when we knew about the pandemic and we couldn't do all of the things that we had planned, I guess we went to plan B, which was to have this caravan. And we had no idea that the people would want to follow. And they did. There were acres of cars. I know there were a couple of hundred. And I was just delighted with it. I had a chair and I sat down at the end of it and I thanked every one of those cars that passed. You know, our group has, well, we still had the Miss Juneteenth play. Yep. That was done by Greg Ellis, and that was viral. And the movie Miss Juneteenth, and I want you to know I was in it. I wasn't Miss Juneteenth, but I was in the movie. How about that? So I enjoyed it. And my group has been double timing to get people to understand that Juneteenth needs to be a national holiday. And to that end, we've got the petition out, and we are asking people to sign our petition. You go to juneteenth.us, and then there's Juneteenth FTW, and they'll take you to links that you can sign the petition. But do you know, we had about 500, well, we had about, is it 500,000? No, yes, we did. We had 500,000.
Wow.
And we were trying to get 100,000 signatures. And we had about half of those when this young man named Sean Combs, the kids know him as P. Diddle. And he talked to me, he said, don't worry about it. And the next time we looked at those things, we had over that 500,000 signatures. And right now it's 1,300,000 plus.
Wow.
Well, we're gonna take them to Congress.
Nice.
We are going to caravan up to Washington, D.C. because they are putting that stuff in boxes and not alphabetically. California senators will get those who signed in California, the Texas one, any state where they sign, we're going to see that they get the signatures and know that they're people too. It's not just some little old lady in tennis shoes trying to make Juneteenth a holiday. There are plenty of people that want it to be a holiday.
Incredible, absolutely incredible, and just amazing the work that you have done, and to be able to organize all of that and get those people committed to something that is just an extremely important issue as well. So hats off to you on all that hard work.
I want you to know I got a real good team. They push me in this direction and they push me in that direction, and they tell me, you need to put on something different. You know, I would have been happy in the shirt that I had on this morning when I was cooking. And they chose to put all these flowers on. But hey, I ain't complaining. I'm not complaining.
Well, you look absolutely fabulous.
Oh.
And how's your lunch coming there? I've got my ribeye heating up, and I just wanted to check in and see how that pot was coming.
It's real good. It's real good. Real good.
Nice. So, Miss Lee, now you've been around the block a time or two, I would suspect. I'm curious about your thoughts. Is this the most challenging time that we've had in regards to the racial awareness, the pandemic, or is this just another window in history that you're seeing?
I think it has merit. I think I'm so sorry about the people who are losing their lives. I am, but it's making folk aware.
Yes.
You know, the fact that we have to stay still a little bit and think, because we rush around all the time, doing this, doing that, and we don't ever take time to see about each other. And that's what it's gonna take. Those young people out there protesting, I love them. I love them. And if I was young, I'd be out there protesting with them. I do not condone the damage that's being done and the people that the police are killing. I don't condone that stuff, but it's getting people together. And if we hadn't had the pandemic, we'd still be rushing around like a bunch of mice in a, what is that thing, you know, that they go around and round. We'd still be doing that. And we are getting together. It's not just Black kids out there. There are all kinds of people. And we're not just talking about, oh, I just need people to know we are as concerned about the mothers whose children are being taken away from them as we are about what happened to us in slavery time. This is a time for reflection. And when it's over, we need to be able to have made some real changes. We were so elated when Martin King and those young people marched and got some concessions, but there's not enough. We've still got poor housing. We've still got health issues that need to be corrected. We still got job disparities. The schools aren't teaching our children facts. So you got me on a soapbox. I didn't mean to.
You have nothing to apologize. If there is anyone who deserves to speak their piece, I think that you have done the work to earn the right to say whatever it is you would like. And you mentioned that you'd like to be out there. I assure you, I have no doubt that you are in the hearts and minds of all of those folks that are out there. And passing that message on for you and with you is something that I certainly hope continues, and well worth the efforts of getting that message out there. So it's crucial. It's crucial. And in this day and age, change must come, and people like you are going to move it and see that it happens. So you can stand on my back. I will be your soapbox to climb on and say whatever it is you wish to say. So
I want the art community to know that a group of youngsters came to me, and I mentioned places where they wanted to put a drawing. They wanted to put something to remember the young woman who was killed in a home by the police. And so in her neighborhood, I pointed out 2 places, and over the weekend, they put her picture, her image. They painted it already on a building at the corner of Evans and Allen Street. Nice. They're wanting to do it on a public building, and so there's some negotiating going on, but I think they'll be able to do that at another place, and the art community needs to know that. There's some other things I want the art community to know, but I don't know that I should say it today.
Well, if you want to, you're more than welcome. And even after the interview, if you want to come back on to the Facebook feed and put anything you want in terms of information, links, places where we can contribute, and resources that we can find to make sure that we're doing what we can to support you, the cause, the environment, and see if we can't pull our own weight in lifting up some issues that need to be brought out, discussed, and honestly changed. So yeah, you speak about whatever you want.
Okay, let me tell you this. I read in the paper where the Basses and maybe Miss or Mrs. Walton were helping the artists who I'm sure deserved it. You know, with the pandemic, I don't think they were doing the work, but we have artists in our community.
Yes.
And I don't think they know about them, and I want her to. And we are going to have an African American museum um, soon. You know, we need one, a really African-American museum in Fort Worth. Now they've got a fabulous one in Dallas. I call it a Taj Mahal. It is so fabulous over on Fairground. But we need one in Fort Worth. And I am hoping when we get it, of course, I want it to be at the old Gwynn School location at the corner of Rosedale and I-35.
Right.
It's a historical place to begin with. And I'm unhappy because when TxDOT put that highway 35 through there, they tore down the first brick building that Black children had in Tarrant County. And I am so unhappy. They didn't let the community know about it. When we knew anything, it was rubble. I'd like to see it back. I don't know who I'd have to stroke, but if they'd let me talk to somebody to put that building back and those buildings be used at the African American Museum. I want a mural there. And when I say a mural, I'm talking about a mural that would depict the Blacks whose backs we've come over on in Fort Worth. And there's so many of them that don't get mentioned, you know? I'd like to see a mural of those people. I can dream, can't I?
You can do more than dream. Hopefully this conversation, and if people are aware, maybe we can get some artists that are willing to create those murals, and more importantly, just hear the importance of speaking out and bringing that history out and into the open, and giving it a home for people to understand that history and have a place to go to it and see what that's all about. So,
and there's so much. We've got the Lenora Rolla Center, beautiful place. It was somebody's home at one time. People need to go there. There's something called the Cowboy Museum, and it's on the north side in the stock show. We've even got a little Juneteenth museum at the corner of Rosedale and Evans. All those places, and I know there's another, there's a building that was moved to the campus of one of the Dunbar schools, and it was a school that was a Rosewall school, you know?
right.
And all of these people, all of these places are necessary. They don't need to move anywhere. Anytime you come, you need, there's so much history. You just can't put it all in one place, huh?
I agree. And sometimes it's hard for people to get out to a specific location. So the more we can have them out and around, the easier that access is, I believe. So
you need to know about this. Oh man, you're going to be tired of me. Oh. But you know about the Ellis Pecan building?
I don't. Please educate me.
Okay. It's North Main, and they're building out that way, but it used to be considered the Ku Klux Klan building.
I do know that, yes.
Okay. I'm with a group of young people who are trying their darndest to put that thing in some kind of shape, and it takes money, 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 you know? Somebody needs to step forward. And I keep saying, well, if your ancestor was a Klansman and you're not no Klansman, surely you might want to, you know, to get along with this project, to do something about it. I'm not calling out folks whose ancestors were Klans. I'm just saying there are people got money enough to take that thing and put it into the shape it needs to be, so that there'll be little nonprofits and all kinds of things that would make people aware of what's going on here in Fort Worth, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if I think that is talk about turning that into a historical / arts center, is that right?
Yeah, something like that. But, you know, I know the young people are having a rough time finding the money that it's going to take to put that thing back in order, you know?
Sure, sure. Again, I know that there is organizations out there that are moving on that, and people that are trying to lay the groundwork to get that up and out. So,
Right,
um,
right.
yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot again here, and it appears to me as though you have no issue speaking your opinion. So I'll just lay it out there. You
Give
talk
it to
about
me.
history and museums and capturing culture and having it available. What are your thoughts on the monument movement that's going on now across the nation? How do you feel about some of those statues and people's opinions of those?
My opinion is that it's ridiculous to take those statues down. You cannot erase history. You positively cannot erase history. I know there are people who use them in the wrong way, but how are you going to teach the children? How are the folk to understand who these people were and what they did? We know they had slaves, you know. We are doing some things that's destroying our culture. And I don't know that I'll be perceived as what, but I just think it's wrong as two left shoes to be tearing those statues down. I do.
Yeah.
Well, you know, remember the fellow who talked about the Nazis or somebody going for the Jews and the Nazis and going for somebody else, and then it was his turn and there was nobody to speak for it.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
After a while, they'll be wanting to tear down Martin King's statue. They'll want to be tearing down Mayor McLeod Bethune's statue. You know, I don't think it's right. I don't.
Yeah. You know, we have a tendency to want to hide and erase memories that cause us angst or anger. And I don't know how people expect us to change if we don't have the reference to be able to understand what could be different moving forward. And so
if we tried, if we just would try, if we would get together, I see Juneteenth as a unifier. I see having Juneteenth from the 19th to the 4th of July. We weren't free on the 4th, but if we're going to celebrate freedom, let's celebrate it together, huh?
yes.
And none of us are free until we're all free.
Hallelujah.
And there's so much to be done to consider ourselves free. I think about the sex trafficking and so many other things now that we are not, there's just too many disparities and we are wasting time. And perhaps it's because I'm so old that I feel we are wasting time. I don't expect things to be done in a hurry, but I do expect some movement, something to be done to alleviate the things that are happening to us now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now let me ask you now, you've been involved in a lot of advocacy over the years. What do you see that moves the marker? Is it just uniting and speaking? Is it petitions? Is it groundwork? How are we able, and what have you seen that can move the marker, even if it's just a little? What do you consider to be action that creates action?
Have you ever heard each one teach one?
I have.
Okay. It takes each one of us being a committee of one. We work with people who we know are not of our persuasion. We could begin, and so we stand off from them. I don't want to be, I know he's, oh no. But if we would work with those people, if we would learn what causes them to feel the way they are, if we would say, babysit for a woman so she could get to the store or sit with an elderly person, you'll find out that you can change some people's minds and hearts. I wished I could recommend a couple of books I've read. You may have heard of Denver Moore and the Union Gospel Mission. Denver was on a plantation, and this hasn't been 10 years ago. Plantation he was on, walked off of, caught a freight train to Dallas, got in all kinds of trouble in Dallas, ended up in jail, finally got to Fort Worth and Union Gospel Mission. Denver watched a white man throw a suitcase on the curb and throw his dad out and drive off and leave him. Denver befriended that man and would take him food and see after him. And every time he talked to Denver, he called him a nigger. The man was dying and sent for Denver and told him how appreciative he was, how wonderful he was. And the last thing he said to him, "But you still a nigger." Our perception of what makes a person the way they are, and they grow up with it. They're nursed from children. They learn these things. But an act of kindness shows them that we are not what they perceive us to be or what they've been taught we are. These two men were fast friends, but he still had the perception that that man was a nigger, whatever a nigger is in his mind, you know?
Oh.
The book is called The Same Kind of Differences, The Same Kind of Difference Is Me, or something like that. And there are two books. The other one is What Difference Do It Make? And they were written by a man whose wife volunteered at Union Gospel. And when they met Denver, he went into Union Gospel slinging chairs and pushing tables. He wanted to know who stole his shoes. And that lady told her husband, "That man's going to change our lives."
Wow. Wow.
Denver didn't want any part of them. He wanted no parts of them. He finally told them, "You go fishing and you catch a little one and you throw it back. I don't want to be thrown back." But they finally got him to let them into his space, and they learned him to read and write. They learned him to drive. They gave him a truck full of furniture and stuff to take up to Denver, Colorado. They couldn't hear from him. They knew something, well, as I'm sure they said, "There's another one gone." But he had slept in that truck to keep them from stealing that furniture.
Wow.
Money he had for the motel, he didn't use it for that. He came back, brought them whatever was necessary. But he told that man, "Your wife is such a good woman, the devil's gonna attack her." She died of cancer.
Oh.
Before she died, she insisted that those two men stay together. They raised acres of money for Union Gospel. Denver would sing, and the man would tell the story of how they met and whatnot. It is such a moving. I wish people could read those two books.
That's amazing.
This man was an art man. I want you to know they taught Denver to paint and whatnot. His paintings were bringing all kinds of money. That what do you call it? The art that's like Grandma Moses. You remember
Sure.
the art that Grandma Moses did?
Yes.
That was the kind of art that Denver did. And
Wow.
it brought big money. Here, they raised all kind of money for Union Gospel.
Nice.
All I'm saying is that people just don't know what's on the inside. You know, if they
Yeah.
just take the time to listen and learn from each other, oh man, we could turn this thing around.
Miss Lee, do you have hope that that will happen in your
Yes,
history and what you've seen? Obviously you do, or you wouldn't continue the fight.
yes, yes, yes. I just hope I live to see it. That's all. It's going to happen. I believe it.
That's just absolutely amazing. We'll see if we can't locate some of those authors in the two books that you're talking about, and see if we can't get some links on the Facebook feed as well, and
Okay.
share that message, because those are the stories that will continue to inform us and unite us as well. So great information for sure. So.
Well, hey, I'm full of stuff.
All right. How's your lunch coming there, Miss Lee?
Real good. I'm going to get me a bowl of it.
All right. Is it time to start plating up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to move with you here a little bit. And, I know that you mentioned a few things about the Juneteenth and also your farm as well. Now, you also keep up with your Opal Walk live agenda. Is all of your information on one particular website?
No, there's something on the Instagram. Wait a minute. And there's something somewhere else. Okay. There's Juneteenth.us is where the petition is. Okay.
Yes.
Then there's a follow me on IG.
Yes, that's Instagram.
At the real Opal. And then at the real Opal Lee. And then to donate, they can go to www.opalswalktodc.com. So those are the places where you can help us out and sign the petition. And hey, if you want a caravan with us, come on, because I'm going to DC.
It's just amazing. Now, is your farm accessible to the public, or is that all for the goods that you take to folks?
Well, let me tell you about the farm. The first thing I need to tell you is that we have a farm manager that is off the chain, as the young people say. He is fabulous. You know, when somebody likes what they're doing, and he might love some farming. And so Joel does, people go all the time. He could certainly use some volunteers, and the gates open because you go to, what's the street? LaSalle is the street, what?
LaSalle.
But what's the street? Not Summit, what is it?
Sylvania.
Huh?
Sylvania.
Sylvania. You take Sylvania to LaSalle, and LaSalle, you go right to the farm. It goes down to the Trinity River.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many acres did you say?
I've got 13, but they're not all in one spot. They're all on the Trinity River, but Joel has got several acres under cultivation, and he raised this squash and these potatoes and this okra and onions. Joel raised all that stuff, and I'm so proud. I don't know what to do.
Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Miss Opal, you got any tips or tricks on how we can stay sane mentally and physically in this crazy time?
Well, for one thing, if we do a lot of praying, we got to pray. We've got to believe that there's somebody up there that knows all of this. And of course, these same kinds of things have happened before.
Yes.
You know, this is not new. if you read the Bible and you know about all the plagues that they had, I mean, it looks like ours is small potatoes. What happened to them back there? And they survived.
Yes, they did.
They survived, and I'm sure that we will. And so, me, I snatch a bit of time and read. Oh, I love to read, but there's just not enough hours in the day, you know, to get to it. But I try. And if you've got family, it should bring you closer together. You know, I know some people can't stand being with the kids. I know they'd raise teachers' salary if they could send them kids back to school. This would be a good time for the teachers to ask for a raise. You understand?
Yes, no doubt about it.
Yes, indeed. But really, our churches are on the TV and every place else. We still get to go to church, and we still need to help our neighbors when we can, huh?
Yes.
I just don't know. I got plenty to do, and if somebody wants to do some of it for me, that'll give them something. That'll give them something to do.
Nice. And I'm sure if they track you down on your website and the Juneteenth website, I bet you've got a place for people to sign up to help out as well, yes?
Yes, indeed. We do have. And just know how much I've enjoyed this and you letting me ramble on.
Oh,
I enjoy it.
nonsense. The pleasure is all mine, and your optimism is going to move me through the week, and I have a feeling maybe even a few days past that. So I just am so grateful. All right, are you ready to show me that mulligan and let me see how your plate turned out?
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you. You see it?
Absolutely delicious. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Well, here's a little.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's a little peek of my my ribeye and pepperoni and cheese sandwich there. So it turned out all right. I think that it might have a pretty good flavor to it. So. All right, so Miss Lee, do you have any final thoughts or advice for people out there? Any words of wisdom to leave us with?
I don't know that they are words of wisdom. I just want to tell them that to hold on. This too shall pass. And I see that it's going to be a change. You've heard the song, there's a change coming.
Yes.
Well, there's going to be a change. And I hope that change is going to be that people will get together and that they will understand that we can get more done together than separate. And we've got too many disparities that we need to address, not to get busy doing it now. Let me show you something.
All right. Nice.
I wrote a little book called Juneteenth for Children. And I want the people to know that it's available. There are other Juneteenth books. There's one by Dr. Charles Taylor, and I've just met a professor out of SMU who's written a Juneteenth book. So tell them to find these and get some more information about Juneteenth, okay?
Absolutely. Miss Lee, can we find that on the Juneteenth website?
I believe you can, yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, we'll make sure we get some links out there as well so people have an opportunity to check out that wonderful book, inform, educate themselves, and pass that message along. So
I don't know that I have stressed how important it is for us to educate our children, to educate ourselves. Education, in my estimation, is the tool that's going to get us out of this. And I don't mean miseducation, I mean actually educating people. So that's my platform. Education, education, education. Here.
I will raise it up any way I can. So Miss Lee, it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to spend time with you. I cannot thank you enough for having lunch with me today. I'm going to go to all those sources. I want to see that Juneteenth play. I make it a promise to you that I will watch the Juneteenth movie, and I will read that children's book as well. And
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
am just so grateful to you for joining us, and we will make sure that we get your information passed along. And I wish you nothing but health and happiness another 93 years, because we need people like you pushing that message out there and advocating for change, and not only talking the talk, but literally walking the walk as well. So blessings.
Thank you so much for having me here. I was, oh, I can't answer these questions. And then here I am, but I've enjoyed it. You hear?
I knew you could. I had no doubt in my mind. Miss Lee, truly a pleasure. And again, I wish you nothing but health and happiness. You stay safe out there. You
I'll
keep
do it.
spreading that word and getting that message out. And with
Okay.
that being said, I want to thank you folks for tuning in to another episode of Box Lunch. This is where we lift our spoons and take a little bite, Miss Lee. Bon appetit to all of you out there. We'll be back on Friday. Have a safe week, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. This stuff tastes good.